करियो।
Start.
Hi guys. Hi guys, feeling
Hello.
great to see you all here. Heard of hackathons? Do you need some proving grounds for your new ideas and have a vision about the good tools and technology you need to stimulate about the problem solving abilities with a mission to empower student community? We the Codeflow organization are going to organize our first ever live workshop on diving into hackathons like SIH. We assure you that you have a great interactive session, and this introductory session would be very useful for aligning you towards your dreams and your goals towards the field of tech. So let's get started and continue with the agenda slide. So we will be discussing upon journey of becoming an SIH finalist. Next would be skills you must know to be a hackathon winner. How a hackathon can help you to grow in your financial as well as growing your skills like React.js, your other technical skills, as well as your soft skills. How to make your idea, that one impactful idea that got selected in the 400 projects, with a single slide. And at last, we will be discussing some right team selection criteria and tips and tricks, and much more. So let's welcome our speaker.
Yeah, hello. Hello, everybody.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
It's great to
Hello.
see you here.
Yeah, same here. It's being a great opportunity for me too. So let's start. So
Okay,
yeah,
sir.
so if you have any question in your mind, first you ask.
So I was just curious about your journey. Like you talk about your SIH finalist. Like what
Hmm.
exactly is this? What is?
Yeah.
I just want to start with some basic thing. Like what exactly is hackathons? We
So
have this
yeah,
question.
So let's start from the basic. So what's a hackathon? So there are two definitions of it. One is theoretical, which everyone knows that it is a 24, 36, or 48 hours of coding marathon in which you are provided with some problem statements and you have to find a solution and come up in the form of a web application or mobile app, whatever it is. But according to me, the correct definition is hackathon is basically a platform for you to showcase your skills if you have some pre-twisted skills. If not, it is a perfect platform as well as perfect area to learn about new technologies and to explore them. Basically, what is hackathon basically is, in this you are provided with a problem statement. Okay, so you have to choose any problem in a bunch of many problems, and then you have to propose your solution for this. Okay, so we have different problems. Consider a case, YouTube. Okay, so when the YouTube first designed, it was a problem for different people, that how that at which place we can have all our videos, songs, everything, learning tutorials, everything at a particular platform, at a single platform. It's a YouTube, a perfect solution. So there was some person who designed the solution for this. The same happens with us in the hackathon. In hackathon, we propose a solution for a problem and then we start building it. So solution, it doesn't mean a simple theoretical solution. It's a practical solution, like a web application or a mobile application. Okay, or anything else. It is a software basically. We have hardware hackathons also, in which we design some hardware devices. So now when we talk about the hackathons, the very most prestigious hackathon in this country is currently is SIH, which is Smart India Hackathon. Why it is so much prestigious? Just because of one reason. Firstly, it is funded by the government of India, and secondly, it is a nationwide hackathon. And the competition is very, very high in this SIH. So there are different stages of SIH. So before telling you about the different stages and about my journey in SIH, you have to know about this. In SIH, they provide us around 250 to 300 problem statements. Okay. And every problem statement is from any ministry of government, such as Ministry of Textile, Agriculture, Pharmacy, and Industry, or by the private companies also, such as Adani and Ambani's. Every company is also there. You can find over their official site, that is sis.government.in. You can find them. Okay, so they provide a lot of problem statements. So what we have to do earlier, that is in 2019, 2018, what we were doing, we have to just propose a PPT just of 3 slides only, and then we have to submit for any problem. Okay, we can submit any PPT, any number of PPT to any solutions, and then they select around 5 to 6 PPTs, top 5 to 6 PPTs of every problem, and these teams got into the finals. And remember one thing, in SIH there is a 6 member team event in which one girl is compulsory. So now you can imagine that there's a very big team. Working with a team of 6 member is always a challenging task. So I will discuss about this challenge also further. So this was happening before 2019. But in SIH 2020, the complete platform, complete procedure has been changed. So in 2020, because earlier when the students used to submit their PPT, there are a very large number of solutions. For example, on a particular problem statement, they have around 300 to 400 submissions. So it becomes a really tidy task to identify that, to judge all these PPTs and to select the top 5. So what the government planned, they decided to conduct internal hackathon in every college. Okay, so in every college internal hackathons occur, and in internal hackathon, top 5 teams of every college then promoted to the national level. What does this national level means? Now they are eligible to submit their PPT. Okay, now they can submit the PPT on their selected problem statement. Then out of submitted PPTs, the government, the ministry will select 5 or 6 PPTs depending upon the quality of the statement, and then the selected teams got into the final. But remember one thing, there are some problem statement also in which the submission is very low, at around 2 to 3. Then such statement got cancelled by the ministry itself. Okay, so starting about my journey. So my journey was quite good in the terms of SIH. I have a very good team constituting very amazing developers as well as thinkers. Team building is the most important task when you talk about the hackathons, since you have to take a team of 6 member that include one girl too. So 6 member team is quite a big task. You have to select accordingly. You have to work in different aspects such as developing front end of your website, back end of your website, or the if you are using AI or ML machine learning model in your website. Okay, so I built a very good team consisting of 2 front end, 2 back end, and 2 MLAI guys. So we were good in this contest. So when first of all we participated in our college hackathon. So for that we have to select a problem statement. So around 1 week to 2 week we spent on selecting the problem statement. Remember one thing, while selecting the problem, when you begin to select your problem, first of all read every statement. These are around 250 to 300 statement, but read. You think that it takes a lot of time, but it values, because some statement are so easy that everyone going to implement. So the competition is tough. Some are such like that no one is gonna go for that statement. These are also wrong problem to select, because the problem will eventually got cancelled by the ministry. So try to choose a statement in which you thought that not a large number of solutions would be there. Okay, so problem selection is the most effective manner. Select problem in a most effective manner, because this can directly affect your selection as well as your winning of the Smart India Hackathon. So after selection of a problem, now start working over your data set, because usually every statement has requirement of ML and AI. Yeah, every statement has some requirement for this. So start working over the technologies, decide your tech stack accordingly, so that your all the team members can easily implement. If you don't know about this, no issue, you have a lot of time, because SIH announcement is around 2 to 3 months back before the preliminary round of the college hackathons. So you have enough time to learn any new technology, because learning a new technology is a task of not more than 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, 2 and 3 weeks are sufficient for grasping the concept. Then 1 week is for implementing the concept. Okay, so this is sufficient. I think 1 month is at max. 30 days are more than everything. Yeah, 30 days everything. Okay, so we have our college hackathon that was so chill. We just implemented our idea, such a prototype. In a college hackathons, we have to just provide our prototype, not a full product, because it is just a preliminary level. So after selecting in the top 5 in the college, we got first place there. So after selecting there, now we have around 10 to 12 days time to finally submit our PPT. So yeah, this is the most effective and crucial time for us. Well, we have to submit just 3 slide PPT, and just think that 3 slide, in just 3 slide you have to tell each and everything about your idea, your implementation, and much of your applause. One slide consists of just your intro, your name, your team name. So I can show you my PPT too after this. So I devoted around 2 to 3 nights for just preparing these 2 slides of PPT. So when I prepared it, then we submit. Then the corona came. So when the corona came, we got our result and finally we got selected. So we were so much happy as it's a big thing. And now the more happiness is that now we are going to the national level to participate in an offline mode. We thought that hackathon will happen offline, but much of our applause, the hackathon happened online, which is not a good thing. Yeah, I don't think online hackathon is such a big thing before that SIH. But when I participated in the online hackathon, there are advantages as well as disadvantages as well. Pros and cons happen with everything. Okay, so online SIH, it was around for 3 days. 3 days, 72 hours. Complete coding marathon was there for us. So and consistent of 6 evaluation session as well. So 6 evaluation session was also there. So after every 7 to 8 hours, we have our evaluation session where the mentors as well as the judges evaluate our progress and suggest a very good suggestion improvements over our app. So it's been a very great journey, a very interactive and learning thing. Though we haven't win the hackathon, I lost there, but the main thing we got is experience, learning, and most important thing, explore the national level things. That how big teams, how the code run into the production, everything to interact with such of the great mentors there. In SIH, the judges are not a common people. They are great professors, the senior professors, as well as senior ministry officials, Government of India peeps. PM Modi also addresses us on the hackathon night about all the how we have to progress, how we are building for the country. And yeah, one thing more. If you win the hackathon, SIH, you will awarded with a cash prize of 1 lakh rupee. So which is also a big thing. So financially also you got so much stable when you participate in the hackathons. You got a very good rewards as well as digitally you got a lot of. So I can show you my PPT also, the PPT that I designed for the SIH, so that you got an idea that how to sum up all your things, all your ideas in just a 2 slide PPT. Shall I? Arun?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me when I got visible. Now is it visible to you?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, sure. So is the PPT is visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. So now you can see that it's just a 3 slide PPT. So that I mentioned earlier that on the front page we just have our introductory such as about the ministry, whatever the ministry of my statement it is, statement code and all about the basic. Then come only 2 slides. The first slide and quite a most important thing is the solution slide. So there you have to propose your solution. So remember one thing in proposing your solution, always have a habit. Have a habit to write the solution in the form of your bullet points, not a complete paragraph. Because no one is gonna interested in learning in reading your paragraph. They just see your bullet points. Write each and every good thing that you thought that you can implement and also the result also. For example, we are predicting the future cotton price, so I show a graph there so that the ministry, the people, the judges got an idea how my app will going to work. Okay, so it is the main thing. Your solution should be in the bullet points of not more than 3 to 4 points. I've used 4, which is also too much, but it happens that 4 points are quite, I thought that it would be sufficient for me. So try to do it in 3 or 4 points at max, not more than that. Secondly, a tech stack. Technology selection is also a very important thing in dealing with hackathons because if you are using such technology which is too difficult and which require a lot of dependencies to be installed in the user system to run your app, then it will also a great problem. For example, in some mobile applications or in some web app too, there are a lot of things that user has to be installed for a proper functioning. So don't do that. And yeah, here also you have to do in the proper bullet points for user interface, for client interface, front end, back end. And if you are using your MLAI, you can mention your model too. So it consists only 2 parts, solution as well as your tech stack. And always remember when you are creating your PPT, don't try to fill the full PPT. Make it a habit that you fill around third, fourth of your PPT, and some areas should be left because if everything got filled, to be so much difficult for anyone to read everything. Now, the third and the last slide, it consists of two things. First, your use case diagram. So, use case diagram, many of you who are the beginners, they don't know about use case. So, use case basically means the proper flow diagram of your app, how your app done work, how your app works, how the data is processing your app, how every decision is making in your app. So, you can see, first of all, I want to tell you about my problem. My problem statement simply was they want us to predict the future cotton price in any of the area of the country. Okay, so that the farmer or industrialist or anyone or government too can have an idea to find that where to sell the cotton at a proper reasonable rates. Okay, so how my app is working, if for example I'm a user and I want to learn about the future prediction, I have to do the login sign up in the system if I want to access anything, and then I process all these things. Okay, so you can see how my app is working. You can see here's a user, here is my complete system simply means my backend, then the database and ML model, how is he interacting with all these things and finally giving me the result. So you can see that how my diagram depicting my full app in just a small figure of 10 by 3 centimeter. And now the last thing, your dependencies. Dependencies means on which parameter, on which ground your app is dependent, when it will fail, and what are the drawbacks and what are the stoppers for this app. In my scenario, I was using the dataset, which is not easily available about the cotton prices from the past year, for which I am using the data from the government sites. That's why I mentioned the source also. Yeah, try to mention each and every reference that you are using, because government only trust on the trusted resources such as their own. Secondly, then how my app will affect, how what are the stoppers that at what parameters my app got completely failed, such as the GST demonetization, and then these are the certain parameters, certain things that I mentioned in my app. So you can have your own, but try to only that how to make your PPT in a more concise manner, concluding all the facts and details that you want to show to them. Okay, always have a habit to use some figures in your app, in your PPT, sorry, not so much, only a figure on a particular slide would be all right. Yeah, Argun, any question?
Yeah, sir. We usually have this question like, what should be our team name? Does team name impact what we are doing? Like,
Team name. Yeah, one thing I forgot to tell you. In the SIH, team name matters a lot, because if the two teams have the same name, they disqualified both of the teams. So try to give the name not logical. Illogical name works. Because in my case, I use the name Demon Killers, which is not a logical name. You can use any name. I saw the team such as Error 404, Coding Ninja, whatever the name they use. They use any front end, back end. These were also the names of their team. Front end. Can you imagine front end is the name of a team? So give a name such as illogical name, not a logical. Don't find logic in your team name, because your team name can also lead you to the disqualification. So try to give your team a name which is quite illogical, not logical in some instances. Yeah.
okay. So the next thing is what we face in a hackathon is like our project does not get completed because we are given with a 1 or 2 day time. So what
Mhm.
we do with that project? Like some
Yeah, sure.
people leave it.
No. Don't try. Don't leave the project. First of all, when you are participating in a hackathon, whatever the things you mentioned in your solution, just try to implement all of them. Is just because of the this reason only. Whatever the things you write in your statement that I will gonna make this, I will develop this feature. It should be concise. So whenever writing about the feature, you make sure that you can implement all the features. If anyhow due to any of the technical glitch or any of the miscommunication or anything, you are not able to implement all the feature, just have an habit that after the hackathon, complete that project. Because if you leave the project in between and after some days you try to complete the project, it becomes quite impossible. I have too many projects such like that which I leave left before due to any competition, and now if I want to complete them, I'm not able to complete, because first I have to learn, read the code, I have to see the glitches, see the bugs, which is a very headache, which is a great headache to me. So try to complete your project as soon as your hackathon ends, because completing a project giving you a good project as well as to explore that technology. For example, if I want to learn Node.js, okay, Node.js or Django. So learning a technology is a best. For learning a technology, try to build a project. Building a project is the best way to learn and implement any technology. Learning is quite easy. Everyone can learn, but not everyone can implement. For implementing, you have to create a project, a complete project on your own or in the team. But personal projects helps a lot in learning and in understanding the technology, how all the things happen. And and in developing a project, you face a number of errors. Many time you think that just leave it, we don't want to do. But at that time, take some rest and try to complete this. Whenever you are facing your error, just write your error on the Google. If you are a web developer or if you want to be a web developer, googling is the basic task. If you feel any error, if you face anything, if you want to know about anything, just put on the Google. You will find any reference to it, maybe the direct solution, if not the direct solution, some way so that you can step in into the solution. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, what are the pros and cons of online hackathons? As we are having a large bundle of online hackathons nowadays, like what
Yeah.
sort of things we should look for a hackathon? Like we should participate in this hackathon. Like
Yeah, talking about the which hackathon you have to participate. Yeah, you can, as a beginner, if you are a beginner, just participate in any hackathon, whether it is a college hackathon or at any site such as Dayfolio, HackerEarth, just participate. Because participate in hackathon can give you a very great advantage in learning a technology, in implementing a technology, in teamwork also. Online hackathon has so much pros and cons as well. I was the leader in my SIH team, so I know a lot of disadvantage because miscommunication happens to communicate all the people in your team because the internet connectivity always a big problem to everyone. So in the online hackathon, one thing is that miscommunication between all your team members. Because if you are participating in an offline, your all team members are sitting together, they are working together. Whatever the error, whatever the things they face, they can discuss with you. The progress also. But in online, you are just calling and do you have completed, and no answer from that. So it's a very big disadvantage of online hackathons. There is advantage too in the online hackathon. You can construct your app before, you can use any external libraries, you can use in offline too. But in the online, disadvantage is that I told you about, the communication gap between your team members. And advantages is just like you are having your online class, it has advantage and disadvantage too. So it happens with the hackathons too. Yeah.
so, my next question is, like you were a team leader. So how was
Yeah.
the journey? Like the miscommunication thing. How you selected your team? Like I'm doing this project. I need this people with these skills.
Yeah. So whenever any of us start building a team, first of all, we want to take our friends. Okay. So everyone has a tendency to have their friends in their own team. I too have the same. So when I was building the team, I just have an idea. I just decided that I will take the people who can work for me, who will work with me, sorry, not for me, with me, that whatever I'll say, they just implement, they trust me. Trust is the most important thing in a team. So whenever you are building the team, take the people whom you trust and you think that they also trust you. Okay, so I have two very great persons in my team. These are my very good friends, as well as they are very good developers too. So I selected them so that they can lead, one can lead the front end side and one can lead the back end side. Team Always have a team in a more diverse manner, so that one can work over the front end, other can work over the back end, so that you can lead them properly. Okay. So Hargun, it's my suggestion to you, whenever you want to select the team, make sure that you have one person who has completely proficient in what sector. If you have an experience of participating in the hackathons, if you are not a beginner. But if you are a beginner, then it doesn't matter that how your team is. Just take those peeps who can trust over you and who can work with you. Most important thing, the work. That if you are giving them a deadline that after 2 hours I need that component. So if anyhow they are not able to build, they are that much capable to tell you their whole progress. That they stuck with this error, no issue. No issue with the errors. Error can come with anyone. But you have to be truthful with your team members to tell them proper progress, that how you progress in this sector, how you are working with this. Be honest with your team members is the most important thing I want to tell you. Don't lie, as no one will gonna kill you. Yeah, it's just a team, it's not a college, it's not your teacher, these are just your friends. So tell them truth, tell them about your correct progress, that in what sector you are doing. And for example, I get my friend into the front end side. And if you don't want to do the front end, but he's doing just for my sake, so have an ability to tell this also, that I don't want to go in that sector. And always have one member in your team who can do everything. Okay, who can do everything if any of the circumstances, and there should be a leader or maybe a co-leader, because if you are a leader of your team, you should have the ability to work in any of the field, front end, back end, no matter how, because you are leading these people, whether a team of 3 members, 4, 6, any team, because teamwork is the most important thing. Yeah, when you go to the companies in the corporate world, you have to work in the team. Their team, there will be so much diverse team. They instruct you to work in a particular sector that you don't want to, but you have to do there. So try to learn new things. Always see these things as a challenge. For example, in my company too, I'm doing intern, so I was guided that I have to work on the front end. I'm not good too much in the front end, I'm good in the back end, but I took this as a challenge and start learning about the front end and implementing the technical aspects of the tech stack that they told me. So try to take all these things as a challenge. And if you have some hackathon at a very fast rate, for example, I have hackathon day after tomorrow, so try to take a tech stack. If you have experience or participate in the hackathons, try to take the tech stack, like, so that your every member has a good knowledge about it. It not like, for example, I don't know about Flutter and I took Flutter. If I want to learn the Flutter, then it's good. Then it's good, we take the Flutter, we develop our app in Flutter, and yeah, at the end we know, we have a good knowledge about the Flutter. So this is for learning purpose. But if you want to win hackathon, try to take the technology stack that you have a full knowledge. Full knowledge means you can able to develop your app. It doesn't mean you are proficient, you are pro. No, be a beginner is also a good thing, because hackathon give you a first place to learn. You can't learn anywhere except hackathons. Hackathons provide a perfect place to learn as well as to implement. Yeah. Any question?
So the next thing what we have is we have that presentation thing. In
Yeah.
presentation thing, choose that like how many people we are going to present ourselves. So what was your selection on this? Like,
Yeah. So for this, I tell you one thing, that in the SIH, when I was presenting from a very beginning, I used to present alone. I love to present alone, so my team also want that I only present. So when I was presenting, the ministry people told me that have a habit to have only one presenter in your team, so that there will be no much clumsy or no much clumsy about all your peeps. Just have one person, maybe leader or anyone else, who has a good presentation skill. Just go with them, so that if one person is presenting, then everything goes fine. But if anyhow he got any problem, any technical issue in the online case, or any error, he got confused at some point of time, that there always a one person who is in the back who can join him, and so that they can get rid out of the situation. So I suggest that only one person is sufficient, but that person should know each and everything about your idea, about your implementation, prototype, everything. Guys, because developing a PPT as well as presenting a PPT is the most crucial thing in a hackathon. For example, you have developed your complete application. Everything is working fine, everything is awesome. But then also you lost the hackathon. There are many teams who lost hackathons just because of their presentation, because in presentation they were not able to tell them about each and everything, to explore their project to them, to show the best version of the project. Good team is that who implementing, for example, if you implementing a very small thing, but their presenter show each and every aspect of that small thing, that how this thing is most effective in their idea and how it's the base of their application. So try to tell each and everything about your idea in the presentation, complete demonstration, and try to make your PPT not so big. 8 to 10 slides is quite enough for your PPT. Next question, Argun.
so the next question is like we are having so much long documentation, so much long source code. When we are like
Yeah.
working in the first day, we have some small source code. Then when we are working at the end of the 6 months, then you have a long source code. How you maintain it?
How to maintain the source code? Yeah, so have an habit to write in the modular code. That's the reason the modular code functions comes, because in the modular code you design your code in such a way so that every component, every, for example, front end, back end, in every API, every component is in a proper modules, in proper folders, in proper directory. A proper hierarchy should be there in your code development. So according to me, to have a good solution in this, you should be using modular code. Because if you are writing your own code in a single page, in a single file, it can be cross around 300 to 400 or maybe 1000 lines, which is very which is quite incapable. It's very difficult for anyone to read and to find the bugs. So have a habit to write the modular code. And in working with a team, you can divide your code components accordingly with your old team members and use the GitHub accordingly. Yeah. If you are using a GitHub, then you have a proper knowledge about all your posts, about all your PRs, as well as all your commits before. So if you want to see about your any bugs, anything, you can see your commit history so that you have a good knowledge about this. That's the reason using Git effectively proves to very effective in your case in developing any project, because Git provides you a complete commit history as well as your PR history, that is pull request, so that you can maintain your whole code in a most effective manner. Yeah, next question.
So, does skill sets play an important role while winning a hackathon? Like we have this some tough skill sets like data science, AI, ML. Should we go for these if we are beginner and we want to win?
Yeah. It matters a lot, yeah. For because in the recent time, blockchain technology is in a very high pace. So if, for example, let think of a judge's point of view. Okay, so I am a judge and I have the two ideas in before. One is using blockchains and most secure app is there. They are using a new technology and that tech which is in a demand and not everyone is using them. Okay, and the second team who is just using their complete, for example, complete stack, merge stack. They are just making a complete website, not using any ML, AI, data science, not, and they are using blockchain. So as a personal point of view, you always prefer them because they are using some new things, some unique thing. They are working with some new technology. They are working with the security, a new thing. So learning new things such as data science, these are not new now. By the way, data science, ML, AI, these are not so much new nowadays. Everyone is using them. So that's the reason when you construct your team, always have one member who is capable, who is proficient in these aspects, such as ML, AI, data science, blockchain. Learning these technologies will always be fruitful. I suggest just go ahead with these techs, as everyone can make a simple website. This is in nowadays of web development, everyone is in web development, which means if you go to 5 to 6 years back, as I've read in number of blogs, it was such a big thing, web development. But nowadays everyone is doing web development. I too taking classes of web development in my college, so I'm also instructing many people of learning the same. So you can see that everyone has a good knowledge of it, and it's quite easy to. But when you step in into new tech such as blockchains or data science, it's a new thing. So just go ahead, and cybersecurity too, cloud technologies, a lot of technologies are there. Next question, Arjun.
So the next thing is we have DSA and CP. All this.
Yeah.
How can we maintain our DSA CP along with our web development? Because both needs time, and I know you are a good competitive programmer as well. So
They do DSA and algo, these are just for your problem solving. Okay. So when everyone start stepping into the DSA and algo, they start learn about data structures as well as algorithms. So these improve your problem solving skills. So as a result, you are become more efficient in web development too. So there is a complete connection between them, and how to maintain proper time schedule for the same. Okay, for the DSA, I'll go try to give the contest on different coding sites that proves fruitful. And in the web development, it's not like every day you have to do. For example, I am building any project, so I used to contribute every day little things, half an hour, 1 hour I used to spend in it. So in this way web development progress, because once you learn the concept, then you have to just implement in any of the project. And when you building any project, you keep on learning the new things. So it's just a constant pace. It has to be done in a smoothless manner on the another side. Whereas in the case of DSLGO, these are the most important thing. Remember, it is for getting any job or any internship. It's the most important. So try to have a good pace over them, and every day used to contribute time for them, given every contest, and maintain a proper gap between both of them. DSLGO are very important. I'm not saying these are not important. These are very important too. But web development is quite easy thing. Once you learn about the any technology, for example, Stack, Node.js, React, Angular, Vue, whatever, you learn about that, then you can implement in any of the project. So they doesn't pose you any problem, and these are not too much time consuming. And when you start using TSLGO, they can take your time too. For example, in any problem, you spend hours just to debug the same, just to solve. So try to devote time in both of them. In web development, everyday progress with your project, half an hour, 1 hour is sufficient. But in DSLGO, when you are doing any question, just try to complete the question. Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is, does winning a hackathon add some brownie points to your resume and it
Ah,
increases some credibility?
yeah, it always adds, man. It always adds. If you win hackathon or such a national level event, or not a national level, a college level event too, because in hackathon you are contributing around 24 to 36, whatever the time schedule period is there, completely to the coding. Your thinking skills, coding skills, exploring skills, teamwork, leadership, everything got explored in hackathons. So if you win, it gives you so much credibility as well financially, as every hackathon has a very good amount of rewards with it. Maybe monetary awards such as 5k, 10k, up to 1 lakh, 2 lakh. These are a lot of hackathons, as well as so much rewards, so much goodies for the hackathon winners. But anyhow, if you lost any hackathon, they always added credibility to you, because participating in hackathon and letting hackathon to play the hackathon, I used to use the word play. You are playing with technology when you are participating in a hackathon. Okay, you are playing with the database, you are playing with the APIs, everything. You are playing with your code editor, with the Google browser as well. So participate in hackathon and keep fighting until your last minute of coding is the most important thing. You have a good knowledge, you got a good experience with the technology. But yeah, if you wins, it adds a lot of credibility. It's a big thing. And next.
So yeah, sir. So let's take our some comments from the chat section. Like
Yeah, sure, sure.
we have some.
Yeah, sure.
How to start from a beginner level? If we are in starting, we know only the basic languages only, and what type of projects we can make in hackathons from scratch. Yeah, some beginner level thing, like how a beginner can
Yeah.
start.
Yeah. Yeah, so first of all, I want to tell you, for any beginner, if you want to step in into the web development, the first thing you have to learn about the basic front end pages. What is basic front end pages? For example, the guys who are you all are watching my video. Okay, so in the YouTube, you are seeing this user interface to you in which my video is running, and on the right hand side there are a lot of thumbnails which is denoting about your any video. So there was a man who developed this UI. So first of all, stepping to develop such a basic UI, basic web page by using HTML and CSS. This is the most basic step for any web developer. Learn HTML, CSS, HTML the basic structure, CSS for the coloring, for all the styling, that what color for a particular component, what is the image, how the image will have to show. Then step into the JavaScript for working with the events. So for learning this, you can refer to the different sites such as W3 School, Tutorials Point, and Geese for Geese. These are many. As well as you can consult to the YouTube too for the basic understanding of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So once you have such basic, then try to go to the backend. Now, why backend? For example, I've developed a form. You all know about the form. So when I develop a form, I post the data. I write the data, and when I submit, the data vanished. So where does the data went? How to work with that data? How to show the data? How to manipulate that data? For this, you need your backend. Backend means how the things are operating with the server side. So there you can use any of your technology. For example, Node, Ruby, PHP, and Django. These are different backend technologies that you can use. Go. Okay, so learn about these technologies. So when you are learning with the backend technology, then you learn about the databases. Many databases we have, such as MySQL and MongoDB, DynamoDB, a lot of databases. So when you learning with the backend, you start learning with these technologies. Just a minute. My phone got discharged. Laptop got discharged. So when you learn in with the backend technologies, then you step in into the databases. So databases provide a very database is simply where you store your data. There is only one feature of database to store your data and then to retrieve your data, not more than that. Backend play with your DB. Remember this thing: your backend play with your DB and your front end play with your backend. This is the only thing in the web development. So when you learn about the backend, you start using your HTML pages with the backend side, and you are using the server side rendering. There are two forms of rendering: server side and client side. You can learn about this on googling. Yeah, so when you learn about this, then the next thing, how to use a front end framework. Because if you are using the earlier version, that is server side, which is quite a flimsy task and it takes a lot of time for user to load. Then you learn about the front end technologies such as React, Vue.js, and Angular. There are a lot of. So it's a proper roadmap. So now you are talking about the beginner project. Yeah, for the beginner, when you learn about any tech, they build a project with for you. They help you to build a project with them, and you develop a small project, such as every tutorial has weather app with them, chat app, so that you familiar with the projects. Then pick up any idea for making your personal project. You can pick up any idea. The most famous idea we all guys have is the blog app, the most basic app, blog app. Because in the blog app you work with the CRUD features. CRUD means create, read, update, and delete. To create a data, and if you created the data, you can read the data. Okay, if you are reading, you want to do some updation, you can update. And if you don't want to read, you finally delete. You are deleting with the data. So try to implement a CRUD app, which is the most basic thing. Implement your CRUD app. Then after the CRUD apps, after implementing this, now go with your authentication, such as login, sign up, how all this happens, and do all these things the same. So here is a proper roadmap for you in the web development.
Okay, let's go to next question.
Argun, yeah.
I need to be proficient in DSA for hackathons, or just a basic knowledge will be suffice. Yeah, DSA plays an important role or not. Um,
No. There is not a that much is not required. DSA is just your problem solving skills. Whereas in the case of hackathon, you are developing a web application on mobile. You are doing development, maybe web or mobile. In that, you have to learn the basic syntax, the basic frameworks, and you have to implement. There is no more such big logic, such as in the DSA. They need some basic understanding of you, such as in the arrays, in stacks, how the function run, how the classes work, but not a so much proficient in the DSA is not required to be a good web developer. Your basic knowledge will be sufficient. Yeah, it will be a lot of sufficient. Because in web development, you and remember one thing: when you do web development, don't try to cram all the things. Well, in every stack, in every technologies, there are hundreds, thousands of functions, and no one learn them. We used to memorize them just by using again and again. Because when you start typing any code, if you are using a good editor such as VS Code, having all the extension, the function name pop up on its own. Otherwise, just go to the Google and search. No one learn all the functions, as there are a lot of millions function in all the web development technologies together. Yeah, next question.
what skills are required to participate in hackathon? Yeah, the skills, the basic skills we need, like
The first
HTML.
thing I want to tell you is spirit to learn. No HTML. Your spirit to learn is the most important thing in a hackathon. Yeah, spirit to learn is the main thing, not HTML, CSS. So if you are a beginner, if you don't know anything, so I tell you about my case. When I participate in my first hackathon, I don't know about anything what the web development is. I just went there with my two friends, and we thought that let's to rock it. Okay. So when we start doing, we got an idea that it is not our cup of tea. We are not able to develop such a big app as that we propose to them in the problem statement solution, that we will create this app, we will create that app. But what I got from that hackathon, I start learning about a backend technology. Well, we know basic about HTML, CSS. Everyone who is going to any hackathon, they know about basic HTML, CSS front end. So when you know about this much front end, then you thought that learn about backend. So I start learning the Node.js or Django. You can learn any of the framework. If you want to learn JavaScript, you can go for Node.js. If you are good in Python, for example, you are doing DS in Python, then go to the Django. It's a Python framework. Okay. So I go for the Node.js. I start learning, and by the end of that night, in the next morning, I was able to make a basic CRUD app. Not CRUD. I'm not using a big database there. A basic app using Node.js. I'm rendering the files. I'm performing some operations with the files. So participating in a hackathon, you just have your spirit to learn and explore. If you know many technologies, then the spirit to implement and the spirit to accept that whether you win or lose doesn't matter. You just have to give your best.
Next question.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have like 1,000 plus GitHub contributions. So how to get started with the GitHub and these
Yeah.
contributions?
Yeah, I started with the GitHubs. So honestly speaking, when I started GitHub, I was just making my projects. I'm just updating the code on the GitHubs. So it was my starting journey for me. Then I start using with the team. So basically the GitHub is the most effective thing when we are working with the teams, because we have a single place, single platform, so that we can all share our code. Otherwise, there will be a lot of problem for us that how we can share our code. Either I have to send them every file again and again through mail, through WhatsApp, through Gmail. So GitHub provide you a platform. You create a repository, your project, and then you start updating the code. Every member in your team, you divide the components, you divide the code, you divide your project, that you develop this part, I develop this part. Okay, so so we distribute all these things and then we start working. And then what we are doing for any contribution, first of all, take a pull request, and whatever the changes you want to do your changes, and then finally post your request, and your changes occur, your changes incorporate with the final app. And now talking about the open source, what does open source basically means? For example, you have any project. For example, I have a repository on my own, and I open some issues. That I have issues, what basically means, the my app, the new feature I want to add in my app, or any vulnerability of my app, any false feature, any breakpoint of my app. Okay, so I mention all the issues. And if you want to open source means, participate in open source means you are fixing those issues. You are provide a proper solution for that issue. For example, take a very basic case. I make a repo and I develop a blog app. Okay. But in my blog app, one thing is happening, that when the user delete a blog, it doesn't delete it easily. Okay. When I delete it, it is still shown to them. So how I am in, so when I want to solve, I open an issue and random guy come and he solved that problem, and then I post his contribution in my repository. So it values one contribution of him. So it is the open source, means you are contributing some another one's project, not your own project. This is the basically open source. So this is usually done by every people. They take a pull request from that code and then implement the change, fix that issue. So this is basically open source. So to let in into the open source, first learn about your technology, everything about whatever the stack you are using. For example, I used to do open source in Node.js. So I used to do open source in the Node.js. So I first learn all the Node.js thoroughly, and then I implement this, and then I searching for I used to rat hunting on the GitHub. I just used to hunt the repositories, and when I saw some issue is of my kind that I can easily debug it, I can easily solve it, I just solve it and just propose a solution. Yeah, any question left?
So my personal question: does college-based organizations help you to go in this field? Like,
Yeah, definitely they help, because this is the very basic platform they are providing you. You don't have to search up of the projects. You don't have to search about the issues that I told you. Now I am doing rat hunting over the GitHub to find the proper issues so that I can contribute to them. Whereas if you have your college organization, then you can easily solve the issues proposed by them. You can easily work with your team. If you don't have any team, for example, developers are used to be introvert. Okay, so if I'm not an introvert basically. If any introvert person, he don't have any such a big team, so he is not participating in the hackathons, but he want to do open source. So open source is the best way. He can contribute in any of the repository, and if a college based organization is there, then it's so much easy for him. He don't have to search about repo. The repo is available to him. Just go ahead and solve the solution. It's very very effective and very very fruitful.
Okay.
Next question.
So next question.
Sir, can you name two three basic? Yeah, sure, definitely. So for the first of all, not every hackathon is basic. Everyone is so much big hackathon. So you can go to any website such as Dayfolio or HackerEarth, and there are a lot of hackathons. Those are still running. So try to participate in them. So basically, what hackathons on the HackerEarth, I give you example of the HackerEarth. I have recently participated in one of them. So they have just given you a problem statement around 2 to 3. You have to just make your solution and submit in a particular time period. They provide you a full time period of two types of hackathons are there on HackerEarth Dayfolio type. That once they provide you a complete week time or month time, so that you can develop your solution and then submit your solution. Secondly, such like a long coding marathon of 24 or 36 hours, just go ahead in them and participate. You can, if you want to participate in more and more hackathons, go to Dayfolio. I refer to the Dayfolio. It's very good site and it provides you a very good content. Go to HackerEarth also give you a good scenario, a good picture of the hackathons. You can participate over there. You will be thankful. Yeah. Next question. I have just started learning Java. How would I contribute? Dude, Java is such a big language. Yeah, working with the Java is not everyone cup of tea. But if you are interested in Java, you are learning Java, then you can easily contribute because Java is a complete package language. You can develop every website, everything in Java, such as mobile app. In mobile, basically the basic foundation based on Java. You can develop your complete interface in desktop app. You can also develop. You can CP is also good in Java. So if you want to contribute in Java, just open source is the best thing. You can go to the open source, search the mobile applications because a lot of mobile applications, a majority of mobile applications, good organization also uses Java there. So you can use that. How to, yeah, next question. There's a question. How to tackle with open source project of long source code. Yeah, so basically I told you that they talk about your issues. They told you about the issue that this issue it need to be faced. So they also provide you the reference. They where to refer for learning about that issue. So you have to go there because every code is modular. Nowadays, the developer used to develop modular code. So modular code help you to, you are not, there is not a big file and having thousands and thousands of code of line. No, the code is modular. You can easily find the bug, found the fault in this. Yeah, next question, Argun. How to learn React from scratch in 2 months? Yeah, 2 months is a very great time, dude. It
We
doesn't
have
take this much.
things like, have you gone to YouTube? We have this thing, crack React in 9 hours, crack this software in 10 hours. You can do that. These things.
No, no,
Have
no.
you ever tried these? Have you ever tried these type of things like crack this
No,
in
no,
9 hours?
I haven't tried such a big thing because the video size is 9 hours. I was not able to watch 9 hours in a long continuation. I'm not a such type man, and I can't do this. Yeah, 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 is a very big thing. So if you want to learn React, dude, so you, for example, you have 2 months and you learn everything about React. So the best advice that I can give you, first of all, start with any YouTube tutorial, not these crash course or a long tutorial in any playlist such as who is having 80 to 100 slides, 100 videos. Just learn about the videos. Okay, start building your basic app, and along with this start using the documentation of React, the official documentation. I always prefer to use documentation because documentation tell you everything about that technology, and React has a very good, very fruitful documentation which tells each and everything about React. So doing so, learn from the web also, such as the YouTube videos and also the documentation. Once you finish around 20 to 30 YouTube videos of around 5 to 10 minutes, then you are capable to understand how the things are doing in the virtual domain React. Then you refer to the complete documentation and learn about all the concepts. Then implement a project, a basic, very basic project, starting from a very basic pages. that how the components has been rendered, what is happening on a particular exports, then to working with the routers, to use any design UI styling features such as Bootstrap or Material UI, then it's a proper roadmap for you. Yeah, next question. What I can do if I have mid knowledge of web development? Yeah, that's great. So first of all, dude, if you have a mid knowledge of web development, first of all, make your make your tech stack in a more centralized way. That in what technology you have to go ahead. For example, you know some concept about the front end technology and some concept of the back end. Just build your one technology first. Either you can have a good, either you construct your front end or to the back end, because because mid knowledge is not a good thing. Complete knowledge is a very effective thing. If you want to learn something, learn completely. Don't leave in between, because it left you with some uncanny knowledge, and uncanny knowledge is always dangerous. So first of all, you centralize one tech, either front end, back end, or MLAI if you want to use. Either concentrate your one technology, learn about this, implement, then switch to another, and then try to use both of them. Yeah, any question is still left? Is developing web app better than mobile app in hackathons? Well, I never use mobile app, but as far as I seen in the hackathons, mobile app also gives some preference over the web application. But web app has a very good feature that you can use your web application in laptop, PC, tablet, or in mobile apps too. And now there is a fashion of progressive web app. So I think that web app is quite better, because by developing progressive web app, you are providing them a feature to download it offline and to use it. So it works as well for a mobile app also. So web app is quite a good thing until and unless your mobile have such great idea. Because when you are working with the mobile app, you always saw it some so much fascinating, because you can use in your own phone, you are seeing that app is working, everything good fine. And in the case of web application, you are seeing just it's just a website, it's not new. But as far as progressive web apps are also coming into the sector, you can use your download you download your web app, and you can use offline too. So it's a very additional feature. So web app and mobile app, they both are different things. You can't compare that which is better for what. It depends upon your idea. If your idea is good in for mobile app, then go for mobile, otherwise for web.
Next question.
Yeah. I want to do Android development. How can I start with? Yeah, very good question. So in the Android, earlier there was only the people used to struggle with the two stack only, either with the Java or with the Kotlin. But nowadays we have a lot of feature such as the React Native, the best library I can say, because if you are familiar with the React, then React Native is also a very good thing. So if you are still a web developer, you knew React and you want to step in into the mobile app development, just go with the React Native, because it's quite easy and you still know the concept and you can easily make your app. Secondly, Flutter is also the Google framework, so you can use Flutter also. But if you want to go to the traditional mobile application development, go with the Java or Kotlin. So these two are the choices you have. Go with any of the technology, doesn't make any problem. Yeah, any question or we have done today?
Thank you, sir, for joining us with this lecture
Yeah,
and
thanks a
making
lot,
this
man.
session so much interactive. I literally enjoyed learning from you.
Yeah, same.
Thank
It's
you.
a very great honor for me too. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Codeflow, for this.
Thank
Yeah,
you guys for joining us. Stay
yeah,
tuned.
thank you, everybody.